Hello guys, today you will have a free lesson from my newest course, which is about Vue Js 3 with Laravel 9 single-page application. It will be creation of the first Vue Js component, so the very beginning, and it is a lesson for those of you who haven't started with Vue Js at all, so you will see how to structure Vue Js component in Laravel application. And throughout this course in general, I'm creating this application, CRUD with SPA and authentication and authorization. And this is the content of the course. The full course is almost 3 hours. So if you want to enroll in full course, the link will be in the description below. But for now, for those of you who haven't started with Vue Js in Laravel, here's the free lesson. Enjoy. So we start this course from the first video with the goal to install Vue Js and show something from Vue Js on the screen. And we will use Laravel Breeze with Tailwind as kind of a design because we need some design, and this text will come from Vue Js. So step by step, let's create it from scratch. First, we install Laravel project by doing Laravel new, for example, Vue 3-course. And since I'm using locally Laravel Valet, my URL for this project will be vue3-course.test. So I do Vue 3 course, then I install Laravel Breeze, and we will not use Laravel Breeze for authentication as a starter kit, but we will use it for some Tailwind design, because Laravel Breeze already configures Tailwind with all the necessary files, exactly what we need. So let's do composer require Laravel Breeze. This is, by the way, my personal preference. You don't have to use Breeze to use Vue.js or create CRUD. I just personally prefer it. Then we do PHP artisan Breeze install. Then we do npm install and npm run dev, and we will have to do that a few times during this lesson. So the operation is successful. Then I will configure .env file with credentials to my database. So I will create the database called Vue 3 and then migrate the data, which is default from Laravel. Migrate, fresh, because I have some data there already, seed. Okay, and now if we launch Vue 3-course.test, we have default Laravel homepage with registration, but we don't need that registration. So for now we have Laravel Breeze without any Vue.js. And what we will specifically use from Laravel Breeze is the dashboard design. So if we open routes web, we will transform the homepage, not from welcome, but dashboard. And we will use not route get, but route view dashboard. And let's leave the name dashboard. There's a blade file called dashboard like this, and we don't need the auth at all. And that dashboard blade is in resources views dashboard blade. It extends the app layout. It's blade component. You don't need to care too much about that. For this course, I just wanted to shoot it step by step so you would understand a bit. There are layouts, app layout, and what we need to remove, at least for now, is in navigation, in layouts navigation, we don't need login and register links because the page will be public for now. We will get to the authentication and authorization in Vue.js, but for now, let's leave the dashboard link existing, but settings drop down for login and register. Let's remove it with hamburger like this, and let's remove the responsive setting options as well. So like this, and now if we launch the home page, we refresh and we have the dashboard, static blade file. And this is exactly the case where we'll replace this text to Vue.js. Now let's go install Vue.js. And we will install Vue.js and mount it to the specific div with ID, where inside you would have Vue.js code. So in the app blade of our layout, let's add ID app to the main div immediately after the body. And we will mount that in resources.js app.js file. By default, it has Bootstrap. This comes from Laravel. This Alpine comes from Laravel Breeze, and we don't need that. We won't use Alpine in this course, so we will delete that. And also we will delete in package.json, where we have all the front-end packages. We delete Alpine from here as well, so we don't need it. And now let's install Vue.js. So in the terminal, we do npm install Vue, and then you need to provide the version. At the moment of shooting this video, Vue.js 3 is the default official version, so you can write Vue add 3, which would install Vue.js 3, or add next. But if you are watching this video when Vue.js 4, for example, is launched, or even higher version, then probably add next may install different version. So maybe it's better to use a specific version, but in this case I will use next. So we need to install two things, Vue add next and also npm install Vue loader, also add next. Okay, the installation is successful. Now we need to add one thing to Webpack Mix.js, which comes from Laravel by default, and it is edited by Laravel Breeze to use Tailwind CSS, so we didn't have to use it manually. And we need to add .vue here to process Vue files. Let's auto-format it with PHP Storm. So now it's ready to compile Vue. And let's create our first Vue Js component. So in the dashboard blade, instead of you're logged in, we will have a Vue Js component, which, for example, let's call it posts index for list of posts. In the first lesson, we will add a dummy static text here, but later we will have a table here. So post index will be the name of our component, the HTML tag. Now let's reverse engineer where we load it from. In our app.js, we need to initialize Vue.js and load the component. First, let's create the component. In resources.js, let's create a file with subfolders, components, then /posts/index.vue. And it is typical to name the folders and Vue files starting from uppercase letter. So index.vue is empty, and every Vue file consists of two things, template, which is HTML to be visible, and then script for JavaScript things. For now, we don't need any JavaScript, so it's enough to have template, table coming soon, for example. So we have the component, and now in resources.js app.js, we need to initialize Vue and assign that component to be loaded. And this will be the final step in this lesson. We will refresh the page and see if it worked. I will paste the code from my notes and will explain it step by step. So first, we import creating app from Vue.js, and this Vue is already in our package JSON. When we launched npm install Vue, this appeared here with version 3.2 at the moment. Then we import that specific component that we just created, referencing that as current folder components post index. So we don't need to specify .vue here. It will work like this. Then we assign that a name, and then assign that name to the actual HTML tag that we will load. So we create the application, we load the component, and then we mount the application to the ID app, which is, I remind you, here, ID app. Basically, it means that within ID app, we need to register all the components that are within the app here, and whenever you get the code of posts index, like in here on the dashboard here, it should process Vue.js component. Let's run npm install and npm run dev. Again, I'm not sure if we need npm install because we didn't make the changes to the package JSON, but it's just in case. Npm install is needed when you make any changes to the packages, and npm run dev actually compiles the JavaScript. Okay, we have success, and now let's reload our page. So we have you're logged in, refresh, and we have table coming soon, which comes from Vue.js. And this is exactly the goal of this lesson, to show you how to load Vue.js component inside of Laravel project. So the things that are in resources.js, app.js, and all the components here are compiled. If you go to the source of our page, compiled into JS app.js, which is in public folder, and also CSS from Tailwind.